Hi everyone, hope you're having a great day so far. For our webinar topic this afternoon, we're going to be learning a bit more about SmartSimple's media library. A couple events that we wanted to point out. Two of our biggest events of the year are coming up. So our MES Summit is in Dublin this year on April 29th and 30th. And Elevate is going to be in Boston later on in October. So hope to see you there. And additionally, this week, we have a bunch more webinars. So here are some of the topics that we're going to be covering. If you want to sign up and register for any of these, just go to our website, and registration is open up until right before the event. Just a couple of housekeeping items before we get into it. We'd love to hear your questions, but if you can just hold on to them till the end of the demonstration, we'll be having a Q&A period then. And now I'm going to pass it over to my co-host, Sharon.
Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining today. So I'm Sharon. I'm the Platform Solutions Manager. Some of you may have heard me through the training video, recordings or anything like that. What I want to talk to you today is about Media Library. So this is a tool that I'm not sure has had a huge amount of attention in the past, but I think it has some really, really great options going forward, including creating your own media libraries, watermarking, protecting your intellectual property, and a few other options as well. So in this, I'll be going through some of the solutions that this would address, and also a brief demo, and there will be some time for questions as well. So media library, why would we need something like this? Oftentimes, there can be difficulty getting all of the media uploads into one place. As one example, maybe you have a board meeting of reviewers and you want to see all of the submissions in one screen. Media Library will address that. So not only does it address that for images, it does the same for video, for sound, anything like that. It also allows you to add things like watermarks, and it also allows for closed captions and download. So brief overview of how to actually do it. So first thing you'll need to do is create and upload multiple file storage fields. This part is quite crucial because this is the only field type that works for enabling a media library. Then once you scroll down, making sure that you have advanced options toggled on, and of course, goes without saying, someone who would be building this would have administrator permissions to make these changes. Once you select Enable Media Library, you'll see a series of options, including media download, mobile link, closed captions, media annotation. And you can do what you need with this, the option to create multiples of these, all there. Then to actually see that in one place, this is where you would go and reconfigure a portal slightly, and we'll be walking through that in our demo. But there's one particular portal element that you can create called a media library. So let's say that you wanted to build it for reviewers only. You could build this on their portal. That way they can have a quick snapshot of all of the media entries for that particular year. And even without reading the proposal, they could see a précis of the work, as it were. However many media library uploads you may have, you can have them all in one page, or you could have one section per particular upload. So a lot of options within that. So what are the benefits of this? Why should anyone use this? So I mentioned the arts and visual submissions and things like that, but it's not isolated to that, and I do feel like in this day and age, finding ways to protect intellectual property can be quite daunting for a lot of individuals. So one of the benefits of the watermarks that we have here is that they cannot be scraped. So they are overlaid frame by frame. So that means that the work is completely secure. You can use your own watermarks or, for example, a year, something like that. You can enable download if you wish. If that's not something you would want to see, then, of course, not at all. There's also the option to enable a mobile link. So this I find very helpful for things like, let's say you were looking at a community art project, like a mural, something like that. You could enable a mobile link on this, allow someone who is visiting to actually just take a picture on their phone, upload it to the actual application or activity that you may have, and then that's much quicker than, you know, taking a photo, coming home, uploading it somewhere, and attaching it that way. You can also make sure that your video is completely accessible by adding closed captions. In this day and age, the more accessible you can be, the better. You can create your own captions, upload a file, anything like that. It's also possible for reviewers to annotate these particular uploads. So if someone uploaded a video, someone could say, let's say 10 seconds in, this is great, 20 seconds in, this needs work, anything along those lines. You can also make this list view quite customizable as you wish, and you can edit the metadata of a file after uploading it. So for example, if your file that you uploaded was version 5.6.7 or something along those lines, you could, you know, clean that up quite a bit from the way it was on your system. So other benefits to this is, of course, supports quite a lot of file formats. So for audio, this would cover the majority of the most commonly used formats. So MP3, WMA, OGG, everything like that. Video, MP4, MOV, all of the others. With any of these uploads, the max file upload for any individual file is 2 gigabytes. So that allows for quite a significant amount of data to be uploaded. Provided you're not uploading a full-length feature film in 4K, I think you should be fine. And then, of course, for images, pretty standard format here as well. So, of course, I've been talking a big game with this, but I want to show how it can actually be done. So I'm going to steal the hosting for a moment and show a couple of options for it, and also a brief alternative should that be necessary. So if you'll just bear with me one moment. Brief interlude, I apologize. So we've got this here, and I'm just going to take over the screen sharing. Okay. So what I'm on right now is I'm on one of our demo instances. It's called Engage. So I'll show you what the finished product looks like, and then I'll walk back through how it was done. So in this scenario, I built a media library for reviewers. So let's find a reviewer. So I go to my people. I already have this filtered down to any reviewers that we have in the system. I'm going to pick John Reviewer. Sounds good. And I'm going to emulate this user. So anyone who hasn't heard of emulation before, really useful tool. It allows you to see what another user would currently see. And from here, this is what I would see as John Reviewer. So in this scenario, I have my meetings that might be scheduled, any reviews that might be assigned to me, ones that I've completed, and any other scoring. But in the middle, you'll also see a media library. So we can see here that I've created actually 2 of them for 2 different types of applications. So we've got community, we've got sponsorship. I can scroll down through these. I can see most of these are images. This one's a video. So for example, if I click that, I can actually create annotations. So on this one, for example, if I wanted to view what's already here, I would click opening to the right, close that. Incidentally, if anyone wants to test this with a open source video, Big Buck Bunny is this one. It will not have any kind of copyright against it. So if you did want to test that. But if I wanted to, let's say, annotate this from here, I can see that it's currently on 26 seconds in. I can say, nice intro, save. And then once I do that and open my annotations, I can see time 26 seconds, nice intro. Clicking that will take me right back to where that is. So okay, good stuff. Right now it's mostly art and one other video of one of my friends had puppies and it was feeding time. So you can see as well when I open this one that I can have a link back to the other video file as well, should I need to. So that's how that can look. So I'll end the session as this user, and I'll actually go into how this was built. So I'm going to go back into my request manager here, and if I open up a specific grant, pick one of these under review. So what I would do here is look at the supporting documents over here, so we can see these are some of them that are in place. So what I could do is I can view these either as a grid or a list, but I want to look into the settings of this, so I'm going to go into configuration mode. Again, configuration mode is something that you would have if you had administrative permissions to wherever you are. So it could be grants manager, it could be anywhere else, but you would need that. So now if I was to open this one up, I can see that first thing, the field type must be an upload multiple file storage. Once you set that field type, it is locked and it is not possible to change that. And if I scroll down here, I can see that I have the option to enable media library here. So if I was to uncheck that, all of my other options disappear. If I recheck it, here it is. This allows me then to enable media download, a mobile link, closed captions. I can provide a custom closed caption label, although most of the time I think CC is perfectly valid. You can use the thumbnail image in print view. So what that means is when you go to print an application, rather than having the entire image taking over half of one page, it's a thumbnail. And you can also provide a watermark, so something along the lines of, let's say, Foundation 2020 or something along those lines. That is pretty much all you would need on that side. And then, of course, once you have enabled a media library, you can review the media file list view. So this allows you to drag and drop fields into a specific list so you can see the crucial details of any upload. So a good example might be title, size, upload date, modified by. It's fairly straightforward. And if you don't have that, it really doesn't make a huge amount of difference. You'll still see the primary details here. As I've enabled download here, I can download that. I can also annotate as I wish. So whenever I click this to open, either way, it works fine. And annotation on images, not quite the same, but that's for the media library. So now that I've created this file, what do I do with it? So this part is a little bit more technical, but fairly straightforward. So what I would do here is I would upgrade the portal to have a media library. So I'm going to go to my global settings and my user roles. And from here, I could either build this on the common portal and make this available to everybody, or if it was only reviewer specific, just for this case, I have built it on reviewer for this particular one. And under portal here on the left, I can see when I scroll down that there's an option called media library. So creating a section, if I was to create one from scratch, clicking that to open it, this I've built as sections because I want to have multiple media library options in one page. So just a quick reminder to anyone who's building a portal, if you set any content type to sections, you can also decide the theme. So I tend to go white paper or website, but just in case you're wondering why it might look different to when you build it. And then down here, I have two sections already built. So if I open one of these up, I can see that the type I selected to make this happen is media files. So once I've done that, it will allow me to select a media custom field. So right now, these are the only fields that have been enabled as media custom fields. So these would all be upload multiple file storage fields with enabled media library against it. I can filter down by type, and I can filter down by status. I can also decide whether this should only show video, audio, image, or all three. I would also need to have an idea of where this is coming from. So in this case, because I built it on the request manager, I would need to define it as request manager and on the level that this field was built. So UTA, for anyone who's not sure what that means, Universal Tracking Application, it refers to anything in the list under applications. That's all that is. And then once you're happy with that, selecting your particular custom field, you can always open the custom field settings from here just to make sure that what you've done is the correct one. You can also do things like allow external access, which would allow you the ability to review it outside of the SmartSimple instance, but entirely up to you. So once I've done that, saved that, then that will be present in the reviewer portal as we've seen. So that's a very, very brief demo of what the media library is and what it can do. Definitely recommended for anyone who is thinking about ways of displaying images, maybe encouraging any of your applicants to upload more sort of on-the-ground media, anything like that. It can be very, very helpful. And as I said, it's not in the least bit limited to anyone in the arts vertical. I found in multiple community or foundation ideas, it can be very, very helpful as well. But we have some time for questions if anyone has any.
Awesome. So first question is, will others see the annotations?
Good question. So the annotations are visible to anyone who would have those particular permissions. With media library, the idea would be that you would only provide that to users who would need to see it in the first place. So ideally with that, a lot of the time when we set up a reviewer and we get them to log into a portal, they would usually accept some kind of privacy policy or understanding of what they're about to see.
How do we turn this feature on? When in configuration mode, we do not have the media library tab shown, nor do we have the media library area in the portal.
Okay, so with that, the way to turn that on would be, if I just create something new as an option, I'm just going to go into configuration mode and create a new one. So let's say I want to include this directly beneath the one I looked at already, just to keep them all in one place. So I'm going to click this to open it. And instead, I'm going to click New Field. Make sure my field type is set to upload multiple file storage. And we're just going to call it Demo Media Library. Down here, I need to make sure that Advanced Options is on. And once I scroll down, I should see Enable Media Library. Turn that on. And then I would get to say download, mobile link, closed caption, whatever I feel like. And then while you're building this, of course, best practice, in my opinion, is to set this as only visible to your own role before you release it out to everyone if you're not entirely finished and you want to test it. So I'll click Save on that one. And once I've clicked Save, then I'll see the Media File List View options pop up. So then if I was to go back to my list here, click Save Draft just to see what I've done. Close out this. And now I can see there's my demo media library. I can use a mobile link. I can just upload from here. Allows me to drag and drop or bring something from my Google Drive. So if you have users who rely heavily on G Suite, that can be quite helpful as well. Incidentally, the mobile link, if I open this up, I can include a URL that can be sent by SMS, or you can copy a URL, scan a QR code with your phone, and it will allow you to directly take a picture and attach it to the actual ground. It's pretty neat. Does that answer that question?
I think so. Will we have access to a recording of this webinar? Yes. In a couple of days, we'll be sending out a recording of Sharon's webinar, so it'll be coming to your emails shortly. We have a gallery section in our grant application. Would this feature be the exact same?
Good question. I would probably have to see it to make a comparison, but I presume there would be a lot of similarities.
For that question, if maybe that can be something if you wanted to email the team afterward, and that could be something that we could review further, like offline.
Yeah.
So next question, we require large file size uploads. can you put a box in that will allow the applicant to put in a URL to a sharing site?
I mean, would the uploads be larger than 2 gigabytes out of interest?
They did not say.
Okay. I would be somewhat hesitant to allow users to input shared drive links. Just from a security perspective, I would just be a little bit wary about that. It would depend. You can. It's really a case of, citing trusted links or anything like that. It's just allowing that degree of external access could open up to malicious users, unfortunately.
So for that last question, again, this might be something that we'd want to discuss further offline, just because it sounds like maybe a more specific case, if that's all right. And as well for Jennifer, we can definitely reach out after and set up a discussion to look into setting these things up for you. So are there any further questions right now?
I did have one thing I wanted to mention as well, in case a user wanted to have something like a media library, but not quite, where they may want to see it more on the grants page or something like that. Very briefly, if I open this other instance here, you can set it so that if you have consistent uploads to any particular application, you can display them with the images on a list view. So in this case, we have it so that we've built 3 different ones. So if I wanted to show the image above the application I was looking at, you can display them as full above, thumbnail to the left, or thumbnail to the right. And how I would do that is simply by going into the list view settings here, using that wrench. And I can see that the display is set to grid. This card view style allows you to show an image. So this would be if you had an upload image field rather than an upload multi-file storage field, and then you can simply select that field from your list and display it as such. A couple of differences with that in particular is, of course, watermarking isn't available. It's a slightly different process, but it's more if you already had an upload image file in one of your applications and you wanted to find a way to display them, this can be a nice workaround as well.
So just wanted to thank everybody for attending today. We hope that you all enjoyed Shared's talk. If you do have further questions, please reach out to us at businesssolutions@smartsimple.com. We'd love to talk more and hear more of your feedback and your questions about this. And we hope you have a great rest of your day. Thanks so much, guys.